With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, I went to go see Superman again yesterday. Rob, you went to go see it again yesterday. You took Elizabeth. She loved it. I took Anne. She loved it again and booked tickets for other screenings because she loved it so much. Again, every movie theater is different. But Rob, the theater I was in last night, a lot of laughing, big applause at the end of the film. Everybody seemed pretty jazzed. I'm sure there are theaters where that didn't happen, but it happened in mine. And everybody had a really, really good time. As of right now, you guys remember yesterday, we talked about the fact that as of yesterday, the new Superman movie has the highest verified audience score of any DC movie in history at 96%. And it had over 1,000 verified, legitimate audience review submissions. And a lot of people say, well, it's going to drop a lot once it opens in regular theaters and people can go see it. And I agreed. I said, yeah, it's going to drop. I don't think it's going to drop a lot, though. Well, now it's over 5,000 registered votes. And it has dropped 1%.
Flop.
Flop. Garbage. People hate it.
More like super flop.
95% now with over 5 times as many user reviews from yesterday. Oh, and by the way, what did I predict the critic rating would settle on for Superman?
82%.
I believe I said 82%. Anyway, regardless, like I said,
well done.
I thought the audience score would settle above 90, but I said yesterday it's absolutely, it can't stay at 96. It's simply too high. It's going to drop a little bit, but I still thought it would stay over 90. Anyway, but the question a lot of people still had was, what's it going to do at the box office? And I've been skeptical, right? Because I've always believed that this Superman movie can't make that much money because of all the baggage. I've been saying this for all year, guys. I've been saying this for over a year. The Superman movie can't make that much. It can do well, but it can't make that much because of all the baggage it's bringing along with it, right? It's going to take a while to rehabilitate the image of DC. I might have been wrong. Because with it now being open to the public and having its first Thursday night screenings, Deadline is reporting that Superman has just set the record for 2025 for the biggest opening night of the year. Check this out, coming in at $22.5 million. That is higher than anything else this year. It's even higher than Barbie. As a matter of fact, if you go over and take a look at it, for this year, the biggest Thursday nights, the biggest preview nights, Minecraft made 10.6. That movie went on to have a $162 million opening weekend. Now, I'm not saying Superman will, but I'm just saying Minecraft had a $10.6 million opening Thursday night, and it went on to have a $162 million 3-day weekend. Captain America Brave New World made $12 million on its opening preview night. It went on to have an $88 million opening weekend. Of course, it had a 47% critic rating, so it didn't do all that great. Ended up making $415 million. Lilo and Stitch, though, was the biggest opening night of the year, making $14.5 million. That went on to have a 3-day opening weekend of $146 million. Again, I'm not saying Superman will, but Superman has like a 40% bigger opening night because it had, in full previews, it made $22.5 million. Now, you might be asking, what's that $19.7 million thing there? That is because in the $22.5 million number for previews, not only did they count Thursday night, they also counted the Amazon screenings. Rob, the ones that you and I went to.
As they should.
So to make it fair, you want to see the Lilo and Stitch didn't have an Amazon screening. Captain America didn't have an Amazon screening. Minecraft didn't have an Amazon screening. Okay. So the Amazon screening numbers pulled in $2.8 million. So I subtracted that from the number and you are still left with $19.7 million just made on the Thursday night, completely eclipsing the opening night of Lilo and Stitch, the opening night of Captain America, well, doubling almost with Captain America, almost doubling Minecraft, just about. And like in the cases of Lilo and Stitch and Minecraft, those movies went on to make 146 million and 160 some odd million, respectively. Now, again, I ain't saying, let's be clear, that because Superman made so much more money than those other box office giants, that means it will have a bigger opening weekend than those ones did. I'm still thinking, I don't know, 110, 120, which would be amazing. But Rob, if you had asked me 2 months ago, do I think Superman on its opening Thursday night will have the biggest box office night of the year and set the record for the year, when we've had Lilo and Stitch, which, by the way, is a $977 million movie, and we've had Minecraft, which, by the way, is a $955 million movie, I would have said you're crazy. I would have said not a chance in hell. And yet, here we are. Superman shatters the existing record of those films, and 22.5. Anyway, Rob, you have a chance. You've seen the numbers now. You've seen it. Are you surprised at all? Does this make sense to you? What contributed to this thing making that much money? I don't know. How do you see it?
Well, one of the things that the article in Deadline talks about is how the leaving the theater reviews or numbers are really high, especially amongst families and kids 12 and under.
Yeah.
And, you know, I said one of the secret weapons that this movie is going to have is the family audience. And I think based on when I went in last night, there was a Latino family that had 5 kids with them, and those kids loved it, you know, and I was like, this is exactly what I wanted to see. Large families going in, smiles on their faces, excited to see a Superman movie. Now, there are things in this movie that, you know, get a little rough, as we've talked about. But I do think
get dark,
very dark. Yeah. I do think, though, that overall the audiences are having a good time. I mean, people, we forget that we get so wrapped up sometimes, especially in our space talking about movies, that most people who don't spend their days talking about movies are looking to film to entertain them.
Yeah.
You know, they want to go in, they want to have a good time at the movies. This movie provides a good time at the movies. And now, having seen it twice in the same week and within a few days of each other, I mean, I was thoroughly anticipating what was coming. I actually, I appreciated the movie a little bit more than I did the first time I saw it.
I liked it even more the second time around, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
You were right, Jonathan.
And then seeing it again, anticipating things I wanted to see again, I had anticipatory smiles on my face about scenes that were coming up that I couldn't wait to see again. And I think that that's what movies are supposed to do. And you have to ask yourself, what was the assignment? The assignment was to launch a new universe, but to bring back Superman in grand fashion, to be a character that can be embraced by everybody. There's no grim darkness here. There's no, as much as I loved Man of Steel, but it was not a family-friendly movie. And neither was Batman v Superman, and neither was Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I like all 3 of those movies for a number of reasons. But this movie, there were kids hooting and hollering and laughing, and they're interested. And like we were talking about comedies, this movie feels like it's 90 minutes long. That was another thing. Seeing it again, I'm like, this really does feel like it begins and then it's over before you had barely a chance to breathe. I would have watched this for a half an hour longer just to hang out with the crew of the Daily Planet.
100%. 100%. You know, I was actually, I put up on social media, well, I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. Like Iggy Pop. I was even just watching that scene, and I'm just like, I just hope this keeps going. Because I knew the movie was over. I'm like, I just hope that the song that plays over the end credits, I just hope it keeps playing. I just hope it keeps playing. it flies by. It's a 2-hour film, but you're right, Rob. It feels like a 90-minute film. It just fly. And by the way, that's also a criticism. Like I do feel there are moments in the film that could have been given a little bit more time to breathe.
100%.
But at the same time, it's like that movie flies by. I still can't believe it's a 2-hour film. You know what I mean?
I know. And that's why do people go to the movies? They go to the movies to be entertained. And if this movie entertains them, it's done its job. Now, I think people are going to be debating this film and what kind of a Superman movie it is for months, if not years to come. But that just fuels the interest in it, which I think is good.
Yeah. And again, listen, I said leading into this movie for over a year, the assignment is make a great movie that starts rehabilitating the image of DC and get the audience back on board. Don't worry about the box office. The box office will be okay, but it doesn't need to be anything special, blah, 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 blah. Well, obviously, that assignment is 100% done. 82% critic rating, 95% audience rating, which is insane. That's huge. Again, that is the highest audience. That's higher than Christopher Nolan's films. I don't know if it'll end up higher than the Christopher Nolan films, but as of right now, it's higher than the Christopher Nolan. That's not saying that Superman is better than Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight. It's not. But that the audience is all responding. Everybody likes it. Everybody likes this film. And it's just amazing. But the fact that they're also going to make money on top of it, I'm seeing 110, 120, but I don't know. Do you want to adjust? Because you were predicting 130, Rob. Are you going to stick on that right now?
No, I'm going to stick with that. I mean, look, the real question is obviously superhero films like horror are traditionally front loaded. You know, the big audience. What's really going to be interesting is how this plays out over the next couple of weeks. And what's really interesting is that if people love this movie and it plays, it makes money for 2 more weeks leading into Fantastic Four. And people love Fantastic Four because we're starting to hear some really positive feedback. Having both of these movies in theaters at the same time might wind up being a boon for both.
Dude, and I'm so glad you brought that up because one of the things I thought about this morning I wanted to mention. Do you know, looking at these numbers, seeing 95% audience ratings, 82% critic ratings, making 20 plus million on his Thursday nights, other than James Gunn, do you know who is celebrating these numbers more than anybody else?
Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige, because with all these people going to the movie and liking it and having a good time, there are going to be, I'm not saying it automatically means they're going to come back to watch Fantastic Four. Obviously, that's not the case. But what it does is it increases the chances they're going to go, man, we got another big comic book movie coming out.
Yeah.
I just had a great time at Superman.
About a family. This
is going to be so good for Fantastic Four. This is going to be so good for like if Fantastic Four, I'm not going to say it's going to make a night and day difference, Rob, but here's what I'll say. Let's say for argument's sake that if we could look into our Doctor Strange mystic future and we could see that right now that Fantastic Four was going to have a $100 million opening. I think it's going to be like $112 million now because of Superman. And I think this is going to be really good for them. I'll tell you what, Rob, honestly, watching Superman twice now has actually increased my excitement to see Fantastic Four.
You know what? Me too.
Really?
Me too. 100%. Because, look, Captain America Brave New World was bland to me. It just felt bland. And I love Anthony Mackie as a performer. It didn't elicit really any excitement in me. I just felt like it was a responsibility to watch it. And it didn't really take me anywhere. I didn't know I was going to go. Whereas Superman had all this just wacky little stuff that I like, certain people just randomly showing up in a news broadcast. That was funny, and there was just all this stuff that happened in the movie that I didn't expect. And for that alone, it just delighted me, and kind of the way that, like, when I saw Companion, I was delighted by Companion because I thought I knew the kind of movie I was going to get, even though, I'd read the script, but there was still stuff in it that I thought the presentation of it, it put a smile on my face, and I really love the experience seeing it. And Fantastic Four, because we've talked about seeing these new clips, where they've played the clips out longer, and suddenly these scenes have made us suddenly sit up higher and go, oh,
yeah.
Now I get it. Now I feel that Fantastic Four, coming on the heels of Superman, also has the potential to maybe surprise me, because I was just kind of figuring, But now I'm like, I'm prepped, I'm primed, I'm excited about superhero movies again. And like I always say, it takes one movie to restore the luster to an IP.
By the way,
and
did you see the new one they just put out, the Fantastivision? Well, it's like a minute and a half long. Have you had a chance to see that one yet?
No.
When the show's over, go check it out. It's actually, again, about 3/4 of it is stuff we've seen already, but there's a bunch. There's about 30 seconds of stuff in there that I hadn't seen before. That's pretty. It just puts a smile on my face. And that's the power of a good movie like Superman. It can actually make you more excited, at least, to see other movies. And I'm kind of stoked about it. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Like, it's already critically a big hit, right? 82% critic rating, but more importantly, the highest audience rating of any DC film in history right now, currently sitting at 95%. I still think that'll come down 1 or 2%, to be honest, but I think it's going to stay above 90 now. And adding on top of that, it just set the box office record for the year for the biggest opening night. Will that translate into a massive, huge opening weekend? I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, the over $100 million mark, this movie becoming just the third film of the year to have over $100 million opening weekend, I think is in the bag now. How high over $100 million? We'll have to wait and see. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.